Hi guys, for today's video, I'm gonna teach you how to install Windows Server 2008 with proper setup requirements and Active Domain Directory. So we need to open first the VirtualBox, then we will create a new virtual machine, Windows Server 2008. So let's locate the file path for the 2008 server, and the base memory will be 4 GB and the processors is 4 CPU. Next, and we now have Windows Server 2008 virtual machine. So next, let's calibrate the settings, go to the storage and the ISO for the disk for Windows Server 2008. Then for the network, let's put it in internal network, then start. So let's wait for it to boot up or start up. So after the boot up, let's install the Windows Server 2008. So click next and install now. Then the setup will start. Then let's pull the full installation and accept the license term. Custom advanced. Then let's create a new disk for our formatted disk. So this is the disk we will format. So let's OK and wait for it to format, then next. Then let's wait for this installing Windows to be completed. Then our window will restart. So after the restart, the installing Windows will continue. Then we will now set up our password for the administrator side of the Windows operating system. So after changing the password or creating a new password, we will now have the UI for the Windows Server 2008. So let's wait for a window to pop up. So when this window pop up, we will now set the time zone for the operating system. So click the set time zone and set the time. After setting the time, we will set the date and time. So we'll choose Beijing. So after setting the time zone for the operating system, we will now provide a computer name or the work group for the computer. So let's rename the computer. So we will choose the work group because we will calibrate it later on. So click yes and OK. And the computer will restart after we set up the computer name. So let's restart now and wait for it. After restarting, we need to input Ctrl-Alt-Delete to log on. So input, then keyboard and insert Ctrl-Alt-Delete. Then let's put our password in the administrator side. So after we put the password, we will now see that the computer name is changed, and the next will be we will add roles for the admin side. So next lang, then check the Active Directory domain services. After checking it, if required, add required features. So next, and next again, and next again. So the Active Directory domain is installed. We will now open the wizard for the active domain. So let's continue. So a wizard will appear. Then next. This wizard is for the active domain directory. So we will now create our own domain. So let's create our domain. Don't forget to put .com on the last part of your domain name. So after checking and verifying for the NetBIOS name, so let's choose the Windows Server 2008 R2 because this is the version we have. Then let's next, and next again for any additional domain control. So yes, and yes, and this is the database folder. So default next, and we will now create our password. So password will have a capital letter, a number, and a special character. So next, and the summary, and let's wait for it to finish installation. So this is the domain service or the DNS. So installing now the group policy management, and that's it. We finish our installation for the DNS server. So the operating system will restart. So after restarting, let's put Ctrl-Alt-Delete to log on and input our administrator password. So after inputting our administration password, we will now set up our IP address or IP config. So let's wait for the window to pop up where we can create our own networking or configure our networking. So let's wait for it to load. After the loading, we will now configure the networking, which is located here at the provide computer information. So we now have the DNS server for the roles. So we'll configure networking and right click the local area network and properties. So the IPv4. So let's use the following IP address. Then we will now use our own IP address. So 10.0.2.15 for the IP address. Then the subnet mask will be 255.255.255.0, and the default gateway will be 10.0.2.2. And the preferred DNS server, this is for the DNS server. So let's use 192.168 rather, 0.2 and 0.10. So our alternate DNS server will be 4.2, 0.2 and 0.2. So after it, we will can OK and OK to close the window. So we can check if we have the IPv4 enabled here, or we can use a command prompt. So let's open the command prompt. So let's check if the configuration is correct. So we will use the ipconfig /all. So here we have the IP address, then the subnet mask, and the DNS server. So after that, that's the full installation process and having the proper setup requirements for the Windows Server 2008. So Hope you enjoy and thank you.